Welcome everyone to Sanctuary, a fan favourite settlement location, and if you're new to the game or a veteran, I hope to bring a few things that you may not have known about. So, now that it has been discovered, this is where you start the game in the pre-war era, you want to go over to this suitcase. It'll always have a bobby pin in it, and if you're really lucky, it might have something really useful, like army fatigues, 1 strength, 1 agility. Fancy that. Now, every house here has a few bits and pieces that you can salvage, lots of junk. My recommendation, right off the bat, to get this place going, is to run straight over, not to Codsworth, but in fact to here. And all you need to do is activate the workshop. Doing so will allow you to scrap everything. And if you do indeed scrap everything, like this entire house, you'll get lots of steel, lots of resources, and it's highly recommended that you do run about and scrap everything. It'll get you more build space, as well as filling the workshop full of nice items for crafting later down the line. So if there's any safes in any of the houses that you can't scrap, or open with a bobby pin, just scrap them. The contents will be returned to your workshop here. Now, let's talk about the main things. There's a weapon workbench here, there's a power armor station, and a armor workbench. My recommendation is to just set them all over here. Doesn't have to look pretty, if you just make it look pretty practical. This is quite a nice flat area for you to place them. In terms of enemies, the only thing you'll face here is a few bloatflies in some of the houses. If you're playing at a harder difficulty or you're having any trouble, just ask Codsworth and he will patrol and go round with you to each house, eliminating all of the problems. Now, let's get the main items out of the way. Go into your own home, and you'll get a Grognaig the Barbarian comic. This will help with unarmed and melee attacks, doing 5% extra damage on crits. Then, move straight on over into Sean's room. Pick up the UR Special book. Now, it's completely down to your build and what you want to do. And if you have 10 in any skill, you can use this to put it to 11. Alternatively, if you haven't even collected the bobblehead for that special yet, you could almost get one of your specials to 12 if you so wish. For me, I normally just throw it into something if I want more health insurance. If there's a skill in the perk tree, you can't exit, you have to make a decision. So it's always best that you look at the perk chart, say, well, what am I lacking in, what may I need, and what sort of build am I going for, and work it out from there. If you play it a few times, you sort of get to grips on what you want to do. There's a lot of helpful guides to get you whatever level you want. Now, your house is in complete ruins, and the only good thing here is those 2 items in Codsworth. Everything else is for the scrapper. Now, let's talk about the 2 other stations that you need. We've got a weapons workbench, an armor workbench, and a power armor one. We need a cook and spit, and we need a chemistry station to complete all of the craftable things. The cook and spit is found over here with an enemy I forgot to mention. There is some rad roaches occasionally. One might even be legendary. It has happened only once for me, so do be careful. Might get you a good item to start with. Now, let's look through all the bedrooms here. Sometimes you'll find caps, sometimes you'll find, well, mirrors tend to have some pretty useful items in it. And ceramic is always good for crafting quite a few important items. Now, if we go across, this is another ruined house that you can completely scrap, getting you lots of resources. And a little side note is this bin over here will always have grenades in it, always. I thought I was really lucky in my first playthrough, and then after the 10th one I was like, wait a minute, there's a pattern here. These are always here. So, going to the back of this house, you can find a chemistry station. Not to worry, it's a bit out of place, but stand just behind it. You'll be close enough that you can lift it. And you'll just want to walk it back, all the way back to where we had our other things, and grab the cook and spit. And then you'll have all 5 nearby. That's not to mention that there are 2 more houses on this end that we'll want to have a wee quick look in. Again, everything in here can be scrapped. The amount of junk you can get from Sanctuary alone makes an ideal starting location. Get your Nuka-Cola Cherry, and watch out with the safe here. It is a novice one, but there is a tension trigger trapped to the side of it, attached to a makeshift bomb. Could spell a quick end for you. There's also a ledger terminal, which we can unlock and have a quick wee look here. We're in the business of happiness. And it'll give you a bit of information basically on all of the residents of Sanctuary. Totally high strung, needs to relax. I keep telling him that, offering help, but so far no dice. By the looks of the guy, he's self-medicating with pie. Baker, my favourite tinfoil hat wearing nut job. Good for 7 ampoules of day tripper a week. Guess he's a one-of-a-kind guy. Whatever helps the man groove. Rosa is one of your neighbours. Still trying to get her some buff out. Didn't expect the rationing to affect this, but it is what it is. Jahani, he wants something called Psycho. I'm not really sure the stuff exists, and if it does, do I really want this Neanderthal using it? Guess it depends on how much he's willing to spend. This is a chem dealer, by the way. That's why the chemistry station's out the back, and a lot of his stuff was home-brewed. He also has the bomb attached to the safe. You think he would have hid the tension trigger better, but I guess that's the way it is. So, guess it'll depend on how much he's willing to spend. I'll put some feelers out in my army connection, see where that goes. And then Russell. He still owes me for last week's XL delivery. Occurred to me, was it even for them? Because so help me God, if I find out they're juicing up those dogs, we're going to have words about more than money. But we're probably beyond words anyway. I know they have a floor safe in there. I've seen it. Master bedroom under the dresser. Can't be that tough to crack. So that tells you all you need to know about their floor safe that we'll see later on. Conquered. O'Keefe, still a good couple of hits of Daddy-O a week, because if you go to the Conquered Speakeasy, you will find XL and you will find Day Tripper. You don't find any Daddy-O, but it does, it kind of gives you an idea as to who he's selling to. Williams wants Med-X as much as I can get, hasn't told me why, guessing there's some sort of long-term pain management. And Anders, kids are usually a no-go, but this girl's got style and she's interested in getting tweaked. Ordered 20 blood packs, some Halloween stunt or something. Or hell, maybe she's really a vampire. Why do I care? She's got her daddy's money. Boston, he's got Isaacs. Some student at CIT wants Day Tripper, XL, an entire pallet of Mentats. Not sure if what he's doing is crazy experiments. Dealing with the eggheads are on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Don't care, so long as the money's good. Ward, young married couple, good for a couple of Day Tripper per week. Easy order, cool people, no brainer. McDermott, cop, long time buff out customer, running into supply problems. We haven't had a good thing for years. I'd hate to end it now, and I don't exactly want to risk getting all the noble law abiding if he can't get what he wants. That would be a very bad end for me. Sapolsky, an old lady has upped her Daddy-O order. Weird, but profitable. Miscellaneous have got Malcolm, a new customer in Charlestown, wants Med-X, seems oddly desperate. Might be a cop trying too hard, need to move slowly. And Duché, underwear model from Braintree. Beautiful, intelligent, totally weird. All she's ever wanted is stim packs, 10 a week. My imagination continues to run wild. So, now that we've had a look at, of course, the local chem dealer, and you've looked through his house and scrapped everything that you need, we will move on to the neighbour. Occasionally, some of... let's see if we actually look at the mailboxes here. So this was the Hawthorne residence. It took me so long to realise that some of the mailboxes have names on the side of them. So always have a look. See what neighbour you're robbing from. Not really robbing, I suppose. Very nice kept garden. You could call a cherry out the back. It seems in here they've got a nice wee suitcase for you to pick open. If you do pick open all the locks, it does earn you a fair bit of XP. If you've idiot savant, heck, it can trigger really well. So this must be the family that we're talking about when it came to the dogs. Now the reason we're running a little further north is there's actually an APC. I always recommend that players visit because it has an item that you don't tend to get till a little later into the game, a little further out, which is the army helmet. Now, why does an army helmet matter? Of course, that's a very important deal. Grab it, grab the stim packs. You'll take a wee bit of rads, and there's 2 blood bugs, but you can pretty much outrun them. There shouldn't be too much of a problem. The reason that you pick that item up is an army helmet provides 10 damage resistance, and it's a helmet, so you're not likely to be wearing any hats soon. If you do get a hat that provides a better skill complement to whatever build you're running, by all means use it instead. Also, do not forget the fertilizer. Fertilizer is really good for making chems and other assortment of items. Another house that can be completely scrapped. If you want to know what it gets you steel, wood, concrete and rubber. Again, another completely flat bit of land. So that's 3 houses discovered and 2 completely scrapped. We've not looked at the house that is right beside ours here, but again, heading kitchen. Oh, we were in here, but if we look a wee bit further, desk fans, brilliant crafting items. And putting beds into a lot of these houses, you can specialise them as best you want, and they'll be pretty pleased with the outcome. So yeah, be sure to have a wee chat to Codsworth. Oh, no, before he tries to get me for a conversation. Halloween decorations still present, of course, in Sanctuary. Moving into this well-decorated home, you might get yourself some food. There's some bloat flies that you will have to deal with. Take care of all of them, and then there's a novice safe. Recommend you use a bobby pin for that one. Check mirrors. Mirrors are some of the best items in the game. It's always meds and sometimes bobby pins, so, you know, can't go wrong with that. Now, this house is one of the more interesting ones, because out the back there is the root cellar as well as the thing on the roof. Now let me just show you what's on the roof first, and we'll look in the house and then go to the root cellar. This right here is a duffel bag. It tends to have a weapon, some useful junk, ammo, and a pistol, and the occasional explosive. Jumping into the house itself, does he have a mailbox? Do we know who this belongs to? No, I don't think it's totally obvious, but then he is mentioned in the Ledger's terminal as someone that's a little bit cooked. So we're going to have a look around here. He's definitely got something hidden here. Yes, some ammo. Usually 10 mils in it. So, you know, 10 mils, brilliant. Always pick up pre-war money as well. Just in general recommendations. All junk's good. Loot goblin your way through here. Lift everything and throw it into your workshop. Trust me, you'll be very thankful if you spend 5 to 10 minutes just run around scrapping everything that you can here. We'll actually just finish off the rest of the houses here. So these two completely scrapped, leaving you a good bit of space to build to your heart's content. And then there is the final house that we have to have a look at. This one seems to be some sort of fortified position. So that bot will actually do a little broadcast which will take you down.
Now hiring. Apply today.
Map updated, there we go. It actually shows the Cambridge Polymer Labs. I've never had this iBot wander into Sanctuary this early for me. That's quite the treat. So, in the bedroom here, a little novice safe underneath the bed. Grab that. And as I said, if you can't unlock it, don't worry. Scrap it. All its contents will go to the workshop, and you can go and just take it out. Pretty easy. This big tree can't be scrapped, but in terms of the available build limit, I suppose I should show you that the best recommendation for this, you can see the limit sort of goes to the edge of every garden here. Now, defensible positions, the bridge. Put some turrets here. The enemies come from the bridge direction quite a bit, leading up to the vault. The other place they tend to attack from is across this bridge as well, so I occasionally put maybe a turret there and a turret there. Make use of the water. You have quite a large amount of space, which means you can get a lot of purifiers. But remember, the more water and the more food that you produce, the higher level of attacks that you're going to experience. So that's something that you've certainly got to bear in mind. A lot of the fences can also be ripped up, so go between them all, go get all the garden furniture. You can clean up a lot of this place. There are some melons growing out the back here and some gourds, so you can get farming right away. My recommendation for getting more things to farm is just head south until you hit Abernathy Farm and take all their potatoes, and you can grow them all here. Alternatively, help Abernathy out, and they'll look after you as well. Now, to show you the root cellar and a few other locations that you can find just in the surrounding area to help you in your next playthrough. Now, let's jump into the root cellar. The root cellar has some of the best items in the game, namely these 3 gold bars. There's an advanced safe, and no, the workshop doesn't work here, so you can't scrap it, so you'll definitely need an extra level to open it. But the bars are all you need to get an awful lot done. They kind of provide you, even on a low charisma build, with some of the best options in the game. Like, whatever way you want to go, whatever item you may feel you need, these bars are worth 450 a piece. So all it means is get yourself a sweater and a vest, 2 charisma, maybe get yourself day tripper, a beer, and go to anyone, and you have like 7 charisma on top of whatever your base was that you started with. And you can buy pretty much a lot of the lowest legendary gear right off the bat with these things. Gold is... It's not the rarest thing. You can find plenty of gold pocket watches, and it's not used in a ton of low to medium level buildings in settlements. So while having 10 of these is great, their value is probably better serving you as getting you just a leg up in the early game, as opposed to hoarding them for later on. As you'll find plenty of gold watches if you just look around the place. You find them in safes and plenty of other opportunities, so I'd imagine it wouldn't take you too many runs to get some gold. Right, now let's get out of here. So after you wander outside, head directly north, where I can show you a little thing that you can find just at the edge here of the water. Pick up all the blood leaf that you find dotted about. It can be used for some pretty neat crafting and recipes and delicious food. So you got the army helmet. Now let's get you equipped with some real armor. Over here, always, there is a leather right and left leg. Take the fishing rod, it's got some gears in it, and there may be some raider armor. When you equip everything that you just picked up, always go for leather over raider. It's a little lighter and it tends to have either the same or better damage resistance. You're now up to 19 damage resistance, 18 energy resistance, and 10 rads. All off just what you're wearing right now. That's pretty good. Now, let's drain away the water here. Walk over to this ship. Ideally, if you have Aqua Boy, just swim straight down. It's a novice lock steamer trunk at the bottom of the lake here, and there's also a little box right over next to it. Loot both of them before heading directly across. Your goal is this little pier over here. Underneath, there is a first aid kit that a lot of people forget about, and above is a little cooler. Next, you're going to want to go right over here to this little device. Activate it before swimming right up to here. Open the hatch and you'll get some bottle caps. You'll also get a snub-nosed pistol and some very rare ammo, 44 for it. There's a suitcase, and then up above, jump in, rad away Rad-X purified water to take away any of the rads that you might have got from swimming in the water here. There's some mole rats that may attack you, but I wouldn't worry too much about them. So, as we swim back, you'll want to head straight east here to the Robotics disposal ground. It's another main location, but it goes a long way in getting your game started. There's a sentry bot that you can activate and a fusion core in the trunk. There's also a fat man at the back of it here, and the mini nuke accompanying the ammo for it is located directly up here. Grab it as well before bouncing straight in, activating the terminal, eject the combat sentry prototype holotape, activate the holotape, and you can turn the robot on and then tell it to self-destruct, giving you a few more fusion cores, missiles, and other pretty useful items for your playthrough. Now, the next bit that we want to go to is actually just back down to the bridge of Sanctuary. Back at the bridge here, run straight across. Your goal will be the dead raider sitting over here with the dog, and then there's a duffel bag that a lot of people forget about up here. Once you grab whatever's in it, you'll want to head up towards the Conquered Water Tower. And before heading straight to the tower itself, take a right, swing round to this little open safe, bam, bam, bam. Then straight over to the tower here. And this will be all the starting items you could ever possibly need. First aid kit, loads of purified water, and a little open steamer trunk right over here. Then, as I said, you can walk straight over to Abernathy, get all of their Tato plants, take them back to Sanctuary, and there you have it. Sanctuary, completely covered. Talk to Codsworth, he'll send you into Concord. You can talk to Preston, finish that mission, and Preston and his crew will set up at Sanctuary. You can assign them to farms, tasks, help Sturges, that'll learn you the settlement system. And that pretty much concludes Sanctuary. As a little bonus, there are your neighbours that you've seen in the pre-war era of the game, and they will appear as a random encounter of ghouls, and it can be anywhere. Normally they're battling another enemy, but you'll notice the names like Mrs. Rosa, Hawthorne, a few other named people. That's Sanctuary in a nutshell. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next location.